like, hey, I'm actually like a very serious member of this community. And he still hasn't reached out to me to be like, hey, like these people talk about whether you're gonna be a member here or not, so like I'm probably just letting them know.
Very long.
Yeah. Well, I messed up the other day. So 2 days ago, I took her to the doctor's appointment.
All right. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. One day, we will move this lectern so that it no longer creates this odd barrier here. But hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Hi, Steve.
Hello. I am ready of this, definitely to do this. So let me kind of start as we usually do. As I have probably said too many times, usually we think of sitting as not being an activity, but sitting actually can be an activity. And one way of making it doing something is to really give attention to your comfort and your posture, to sit in such a way that your body feels as safe and supported as possible. So you can feel free to kind of adjust your position in any way that you need to. And you can, if you want, there's a pocket over here, so if you want to get your book out of your way, you can just stick it right under there. Yeah.
Oh, there's no bottom.
There's no bottom on that one? Extra cookies for you. I mean, if we had cookies, you would get extras. So find a position that feels at ease and comfortable for you. If you are feel relatively comfortable at letting your eyes just be gently closed, you can certainly do that. And if closing your eyes feels self-conscious or just doesn't quite feel suitable for you this afternoon, you can just find a spot maybe on the floor a few feet in front of you and just pick out a spot and just look at it with just a soft, relaxed gaze. And then we begin by just seeing what it feels like in each of our unique bodies in this moment in time in each of our lives to just be sitting here. One way of quieting down some of the what my meditation teacher, Rabbi Weinberg, once held up a tea bag and said, "The tea bag I'm going to show you represents your mind," and it was a little packet of constant comment. Right? So. And we need that constant comment. We analyze and plan and dream and reminisce. And along with that, it can really be in the service of living in a way that it's more in touch with our lives, a way in which we can feel more awake to what's going on, to come into the present moment. There's a beautiful teaching, Torah teaching, commentary that says that whenever you see in Hebrew, in the Torah, the word ve'ata, which means and now, that ve'ata is always indicative of teshuvah, which means returning. We talk about teshuvah a lot on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in the sense of returning to my values, returning to tend to relationships that I want to help to make stronger, returning to the truth of my life. That is teshuvah, from the word shuv, meaning to turn or to return. So in this really brief, but actually quite deep teaching, to say that the word va'ata in the Torah, and now, refers to teshuvah means that returning, coming back, recentering ourselves, always asks us the question, and now? What happened before is gone. What is coming yet to come is not real yet in our experience in our lives. And so, and now. And that idea that v'ata, and now, is about teshuvah, is about returning, it's also about freedom. Because if the past moment is gone and the next one is yet to be, then whatever power of choice I have is v'ata. It is and now, right now. What does it mean to be awake? What does it mean to respond with rachamim, compassion, and with chokhmah, with skill, to whatever it is that presents itself? Ve'ata, and now. So it's pretty simple. But simple and easy are not the same thing. Because it is so easy and human. It's not pathological, it's not evil, but it is so human to be distracted. Sometimes the distractions are external. I get a text, my phone rings, there's a knock on the door, whatever it is. And sometimes the distractions are internal. I am bored. My mind generates something interesting for me to pay attention to. But coming back to and now, the atah, there is a teaching that I came to be aware of from Rabbi Jonathan Slater, who from the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, who was a wonderful, wonderful scholar in residence here a few years back. And in his book, it's called Mindful Jewish Living, Compassionate Practice, he says that in every atah, in every and now, in every moment, there is choice. Like a forking road. One fork of the road is with kavanah, with intention. Kavanah means paying attention deliberately, to try to see the truth of whatever's going on. What is the truth of my experience? Right now, maybe I'm tired, or stressed, or whatever it is. So to be with the truth of my experience in this moment, with the Hebrew word for truth is emet, is one fork in the road. The other fork, as Jonathan puts it, is to tell myself a story. And often those stories contain distortions of the truth. And sometimes those distortions are self-defeating. Sometimes those stories cause pain. So when certainly Jewish teachers of mindfulness speak of the atah, they often use the language of being awake. There's no perfection. No one is awake and in touch and aligned with their lived experience all the time. And yet, in every bit of practice and of awareness of being present, as Sheila Peltz-Weinberg says, we can, like someone working out at a gym, she says, we can build the muscle of attention. We can become aware when we're distracted or telling ourselves a distressing story or in some other way not fully awake, and learn to return back to that place of Ve'ata and now what's going on. And it might just be that this is part of what in the Torah God means when Moses is standing at that famous sneh, which is the Hebrew word for a bush or a shrub. We're going to get to this in a few weeks. And he says to the Israelites, he says to God rather, he says to God, well, when the Israelites ask me, who is this God that sent you to liberate us, supposedly? God says, well, tell the Israelites that my name is Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. I am what I am, which is not terribly helpful. But I like sometimes to think that in this sense, one of the names for God, one of the biblical names for God, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh, can be understood to mean what's really going on. Or that when I'm more intentionally close to what's really going on, I am closer to the divine as well. So in service of this call to listen and pay attention and be more awake, I want to invite you to gently move your awareness to the process of your own breathing. We're not thinking about breathing or analyzing it, but bringing to our awareness the physical sensations of drawing this next in-breath, feeling the way the chest and rib cage moves and expands, drawing in what the Torah calls Ruach Elohim, the breath of God, or Nishmat Chayim, the breath of God, the breath of life, I should say, rather. And then on the next exhalation, feeling how that warm breath comes out through the mouth or nose and how the belly and the rib cage contract as breath is released. And we're going to sit for a few minutes just taking an interest in seeing what it's like to be curious about this experience of breathing. Just being with each breath and knowing that inevitably we will forget about the breath. Maybe many, many times in the next minute or two. And that's what is supposed to happen. But when you realize that you're off thinking about something else besides just experiencing your breath, that is a moment of awakening. It's a moment you can celebrate. And then just gently come back to your breath with no judgment of yourself at all. Spend another minute or two just sitting quietly and taking an interest in this experience of breathing. So let's sing a little, as we always do at this point. And we're just going to do a very simple little nigun, little melody that just has the word hineni. Hineni means here I am. It's a very important word in the Torah. It's like ve'ata, and now. And we'll sing this through a bunch of times, and if you don't know it to start, you can pick it up as you join in. The only word is hineni. It goes like this. Hineni, 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 hineni. Do that for another 20 minutes, but maybe you could too. But take your time, really take your time. There's no rush, and when you feel like you're ready to just gently let your eyes open and reacclimate to the lighting in the room, we're gonna take up the Sidurim, the prayer books, and share some of the weekday evening service together, and when I give a little prompt to rise, that's not mandatory. You don't have to stand if you don't feel like standing, but if you do, that's good too. So the call to worship, Baruch Hu, is on page 4, and those who wish, you can stand up. On page 4. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. And on the next page, the evening blessing, Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher B'dvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, B'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, u'bidvuna meshaneh itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom b'layla, goleo or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'ma'avdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. And on the next page, turning the page, we'll sing Ahavat Olam, this prayer about love, together. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot u'kim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokenu u'vkumenu v'asiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'vahem negeyom נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. If you're standing, you can have a seat, and we're going to continue chanting another passage about love from the Torah, V'ahavta. It's on page 12. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shenantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shachbecha u'b'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. And on page 17, let's read together in the middle of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai, that wherever we are, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And we'll sing Mi Chamocha together on page 16. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele, Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokeya Yam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli Anu Ve'amru Anu Ve'amru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed V'ne'emar Kifada Adonai et Yaakov U'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. So on the next page, page 18, we have this beautiful blessing. It's only part of an evening service because it's about a hope, a prayer of lying down in peace and safety and waking up the next morning to life and to a new day. And as we always do, we're going to sing the third line. And the beautiful words are, Ufros alenu sukat shlomecha, spread over us. I often like to think these days, spread over the biggest us, all of humanity, all men, women, and children, spread over us, sukat shlomecha, a shelter of your peace. So we'll join in singing that together. Third line. Uferos aleinu sukat shlomecha Shlomecha, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, la 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 la, uferos aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shlomecha, ya la la la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la la la, la 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 la. So as a bridge between the Shema and her blessings that we just finished and into the Tefillah in just a moment, Ve'ata, and now, we have the Reader's Kaddish. It's on page 20. Yikadav yikadash shemei Rabba b'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chaychon v'yomechon u'b'chay l'chol beit Yisrael b'gala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen Yehi shmei Rabba mivorach la'alam u'lamei amaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yama v'imru amen. So beautiful. So we're going to continue on page 74 with the Amidah, the standing prayer. You can stand if you like. We'll chant the first few blessings on the even numbered pages together and then just go up quietly with whatever's in your mind and heart, and then you can have a seat. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'Ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor l'Olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atah Rav l'Hoshia, Mashiva Ruach u'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol v'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim v'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Amonato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Givurot, Umidom Elach, Melach Meimitu Mechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim b'chol yom Yahalelucha Selah, Baruch atah Adonai. We'll continue quietly with whatever is in your mind and heart, and you can be seated when you feel like you're finished. Yehiyu leratzon imre fi ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali v'goali. Once again, everybody, Erev Tov. Thank you for coming. I still feel like we should give other people a turn to sit in the seat, so you get the whole THX surround sound kind of. It's like the best seat in the house. I came down here tonight with like 4 different ideas of what to talk about, all of them brief. Don't worry, and I was still during like. Lihiyu Ratzon. So still sitting here thinking like, which one of these? Speaking of like Mr. Mindful over here, right? And I think what I want to share with you is something that I wouldn't say I stumbled upon it, but that I went a little deeper down the rabbit hole than I had before. So like many of you, I'm sure, I get lots of email from lots of different places, and some of the email comes from charitable contributions that I've made, and then my name is sold to other charities, and I'm, getting all this email. I'm not sure exactly how I got on this particular mailing list, but I wanted to commend it to you. Not only, but partly because everywhere we look right now, it can feel so dark and so bleak. And if we are serious about making a difference in the world as Jews and as human beings, and if we're serious about this idea of tikkun olam, to mend what's broken in the world, then I and you don't do any favors when we go way down with everything that's going on, And yes, so imagine the courage, and there's other words besides courage that I can't come up with right now, but imagine the courage that it would take for an Israeli Jew who had lost a loved one to an act of terror to sit down in the same room or in the same space or across the same table from a Palestinian Arab, whether they were Muslim or Christian, who had lost a loved one, their Palestinian loved one, to an Israeli military operation, an incursion of some sort. How much, we talked about being present, right? Hineni, right? And we talked about va'ata, and now, what would it take to do that? And why would you do that, right? Why would you do that? Well, one reason you might do it is because as human beings, we all suffer. We know joy too, but we suffer. And as human beings, sooner or later, we all know loss. We lose people. When my mother died, astonishingly, like seven or 8 years ago now, when my mom died, and it was the first of my parents that I lost, I remember I gave a sermon about it on the high holidays, and I said, I feel that I have been given a membership card And the club that I have joined is the Worldwide Federation of Grieving Children. Because eventually we're all there. So I think that one reason that a bereaved Palestinian man or woman who is grieving a child might sit down with a bereaved Israeli parent who had lost a child would be because, for several reasons. One, literally and metaphorically, once your heart is broken to that degree, there is nothing to hide from. There's what else can life do to you? And because the loss of a child is one of the worst things that can happen to a person, and because whatever your life experiences, your politics, your whatever have taught you about the evil or inhumanity of the Israelis on the other side or the Palestinians on the other side, to simply sit with someone in their grief and to know that to have the veil of illusion drop away so that your fundamental truth at that moment is we share this human grief of this unbelievable loss of a child in military conflict or in an act of terror. I can't imagine what it's like to do that. Now, what's even more remarkable is there is a joint Palestinian-Israeli society and program in Israel and Palestine called the Parent Circle. And the Parent Circle its membership is made up of Palestinians who have lost a child in conflict and Israelis, Jews, who have lost a child in conflict, and they sit together. These are people who have decided jointly no one should ever have to go through this ever again. And we are going to, and I'm oversimplifying it, right? We are going to make meaning out of this loss by working for peace and coexistence, and by insistently, even when it's not popular, in both communities, I hate saying on both sides because it's much more complex than that, but in both communities to be able to fight against dehumanization of the other. Because there are people who have sat and wept with each other over this horrible shared bond of we've lost a child. I encourage you, partly just because it's remarkable, and partly because I think it is a uniquely hopeful and helpful thing, to there's a website called American Friends of the Parent Circle, and they have programs, and you can get a speaker, you can get two speakers, an Israeli and Palestinian bereaved parent, on like a live stream to like talk to your congregation and so forth, and I just think it's when all seems lost, all is not, all is lost is despair. All is lost is give up, right? And you kind of look at these people and think, if they can do this, if they can maintain hope, if they can, I think I mentioned this to you, there's some Israeli writer, I picked this up listening to a rabbi who gives really good sermons, not me, and they quoted an Israeli writer who said, to use the Hebrew word ulai, which means maybe, is the greatest statement of hope. If you can say maybe, you have hope. Maybe. So to see people, Israelis and Palestinians, who are making meaning and working for peace out of their shared tragedy is extraordinary. And there's a lot of beautiful, wonderful things on the website. And, you know, even if you're like moved to donate to help them continue to do this work, you can. And there are other joint Israeli-Palestinian civil society organizations that haven't given up, even in the midst of this. So I just really wanted to share that because it's not all dark. It's a lot of darkness, but it's not all dark. And right, I'll end. I guess I'm sorry for going on so long. I don't usually go on this long. But the this famous story about this Rebbe, this rabbi who is looking for something in the basement of the yeshiva, and it's dark. He sends his Hasidim, his disciples, down to like look for whatever this thing is that he needs, and some book or something. And they say, Rebbe, it's dark down here. We can't find it. So he gives them all brooms. This is clearly an object lesson. He gives them all brooms. He says, "Well, go down there and like sweep the darkness out." And they're sweeping away with the brooms. Rebbe, the brooms don't work. Very naive yeshiva students, right? And then, or just very devoted to their Rebbe, right? They're like, there must be a lesson here somewhere, right? And then, well, go down and yell at the darkness. And they'll go down and scream at the darkness, go away, nothing happens. He says, oh, I've got it. He gives one of them like one match, and he lights it, and is able to find the book, right? So, you know, how do you drive away darkness? You drive it away with light. You don't drive it away with more yelling and darkness, and you don't drive it away by pigeonholing other people and, you know, getting rigid, right? So it is not an easy time to be human. It is not an easy time to be Jewish, and it's not an easy time to be in this world, but I wish you hope. I wish you hope, and me, because I need it too. All right. Is everybody like thoroughly bummed out now that I just like totally, am I like the buzzkill of the day in your day?
We're filled with hope.
Filled with hope. God bless you, John. All right, we're gonna go to page sticker on the inside back cover. That's the page we're on. So, Aleinu, as usual, I'm not sure if there's actually a Torah scroll. There's art.
There are.
Are there?
Yeah.
Did you check?
I had it open earlier.
Ooh. Well, there's 2 out of 3. All right. So we'll say together inside back cover. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotzer bereshit, shehu asanu k'shomrei ha'adama, v'hu samanu k'shlichei ha'torah, shehu sam chayenu itam, v'gor aleinu im kol ha'olam, v'anachnu kore'im, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Page 598 is Kaddish Yatom. And does anybody have names of any friends or loved ones that they want to mention? Elaine Leibowitz, indeed. David and Susie Weisenbaum.
My dad, Yochanan Ben Gershon Bachala.
And
your friend, Karen Childs.
yeah.
I also want to mention the countless Palestinian lives that have been lost since October 7th.
And I want to add, we haven't made this public yet, but our congregation suffered a really tragic loss yesterday. Eli Clark, who was a 20-year-old college student, passed away, and some of you will remember them. Eli was the perennial Haman in the Purim spiel. Couldn't carry a tune and sang with gusto. That was Haman parts, and somebody that was very dear to me. And we sat around at today's staff meeting, and people just cried. We were just sort of like talking about it. So in the El Malei Rachamim prayer, we say, and may their soul be bound up in the bond of life, and may they rest in peace, and boy, oh boy, for sure. So, anyway. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, b'alma divrach yirutei, b'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'adalav yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach v'alam l'omei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata tamiram b'yalma v'imru amen Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'ramav Uyaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. So we like to kind of bring in the circle, like a little huddle at the end here. Yeah. Doug's got room. Sandy's got room. Look how compact we are. The Mishnah tells us that we are to be of the disciples of Aaron, Moses' brother. And they say this means that we are to be Ohev Shalom, lovers of peace, and Rodfei Shalom, pursuers of peace, because peace has to be pursued, it doesn't just fall into your lap. So with that, we offer these words as well. Yivavrechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may the Holy One bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may the Eternal One shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may the Infinite One be a presence in your life, and may that indwelling presence help you to find shalom, wholeness, and peace in a world, we pray, soon of true safety and justice and healing and equality for all who dwell on earth. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for making that. Oh, yeah, of course.
We have a special event tonight, don't we?
There is the vision meeting. I don't even know what time that starts. Uh-huh. Yeah, because I'm not part of it, but yeah, if you want to get to input about what's going on with the building and so on, by all means. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, if we can get the chairs just reasonably well straightened up, that would be amazing.
I think I have like just enough time to make it soon.
Do you guys stick around for the event, Joel? Or you going home?
Yeah.
I'm sticking around too.
I'm gonna leave very quickly, but I'll be right back.
You have our proxy for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta let me know how to vote, though. I actually don't know what to expect. I'm curious.
Good.
What brings you here?
Oh, you're not reading your text?
It's good seeing you, Dan.
You're not reading your text? I said we're actually showing up tonight in person.
No, I didn't read my.
Oh, no. Yes, Stuart is like fast on the draw on the Coolsville. We're also hanging around for chatting with the vision. Making a vision? You're not getting vision?
No, we didn't listen. They didn't listen to our vision.
Oh, when did the vision?
No, it wasn't the vision, it was that.